Thank you. All right. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Do I need to do the Toya? Good morning. Guys, welcome to the 2-day Frontline Supervisor Training School graduation. Clap it up for yourselves. So far this year, on the 2-day side and on the next day side, we have graduated a multitude of new frontline supervisors. And today we are here to celebrate the graduation of 16 more. Guys, I am extremely proud of you all. You all worked hard over the past 2 weeks. Like I said yesterday, y'all started out kind of quiet. You were a little quiet this morning, too. I was like, come on, show Captain what you got. But you all emerged and came out of your shells, and I hope that you learned a lot over the past 2 weeks and you are ready to go back and tackle your areas. So take a second and pat yourselves on the back. But I do want to let you know while you are patting yourselves on the back that all of the work that we did over the past 2 weeks, everything that we learned, all the 5.5 and more hours that you all spent in that classroom listening to myself, to Toya, and to all the other guest speakers, all of that work, it does not end here. It does not end in this conference room. It does not end at this graduation. It does not end with these certificates. You all have to go out and continue to work on everything we've talked about over the past 2 weeks. If you all go out and do that, that is what's going to make this class a success. So I have 4 words that I like to share with every single class. I want you all to remember these 4 words when you're out in the operation. Say you're out in the operation and you have that employee who is kind of quiet and you don't go up and engage with them as much as you should, or you have a group that needs motivating and you don't remember how to motivate them, or you're in the operation and it's time to get it done. We have to make service on these packages and you have to make the choice. Am I going to take a shortcut and take the unsafe way, or am I going to value the health, wellness, and safety of all my employees and do it the right way? And these 4 words I want you to whisper to yourself when you find yourself in those situations. Keep that same energy. You all showed an energy over the past 2 weeks. We created an energy over the past 2 weeks. We tackled a lot. For the audience, so just in case you all didn't know, we took the time over these past 2 weeks to learn about soft skills, leadership skills, communication skills. These folks have what it takes to go out and create a following, to create an environment, to create a positive culture, to create and influence and motivate a team. But in order to do that, the energy that you all showed in class when you all go back out into the operation, and I'm not talking on Sunday when you all are back there, out there, not next week, not next month, not next year, but for the rest of your careers, you have to keep telling yourself, keep that same energy. Throughout this class, we gave you all tools. And you'll find throughout my speech that I'm giving to you now, I'm not saying that you all are emerging from this class as good leaders. Because like I said, sitting in my class, coming to my class for 5.5 hours for 2 weeks, coming up here and graduating and getting these fancy certificates with your accolades, that is not what's going to make you a good leader. What's going to make you a good leader is to utilize the tools. Every single day, you all gained a new tool to put into your toolbox to go out and be a successful leader. What's most important, what's going to make this class a success, is when you go back, that toolbox doesn't sit in the corner to collect dust and you forgot all about everything that you learned in this class. What's most important and what's going to make this class a success is when you go back, that toolbox doesn't just get broken out every so often when it's convenient, when I forgot how let me do this again. What's going to make this class a success is every single day, if you go out and you practice with the tools that we gave you. Pick one. Remember we said you can't tackle everything at once. Pick a tool. Go out, practice it. Get better at it. Champion that tool. Then pick your next tool. Say it's communication. Go out, practice it. Get better at it. Champion it. And continue to work and practice with those tools, and eventually you will look up. you will look in the mirror in one of those self-analysis moments that we talked about. Remember, in leadership, one of the most important moments you can have is that moment when you look in the mirror and you analyze yourself the same way that you analyze others in your role. You do that, one day you're going to look in the mirror and you are going to find yourself emerging as a good leader. But that's not going to happen unless you continue to tell yourself those 4 words. You keep that same energy. So before we start this, I just want to give a few thank yous. I want to thank everyone who came to the 2-day Frontline Supervisor Training School class to guest speak and give their valuable contributions. I'd like to thank Captain Norman Seawright. As always, sounds like I only have 42 weeks left of this and I'm already crying inside, but thank you for everything that you give to the class. I learn something from you every single time, whether you know it or not. I'd also like to thank Jeff Simonic for making this class a priority and making sure that no matter what, he makes it and he gives his contributions to you guys and tells you, just like we do, that the most important thing that we have here is our people, building relationships with our people and keeping them safe. Without the contributions of everyone else who came to the class, as well as my wonderful FSTS coordinator, Toya, who woke us up every morning and had us ready to tackle the day, this class would not have been a success. So from me to everyone, thank you so much. So also to the audience, you're going to hear me announce a couple of awards when the SUPs come up here. We gave the SUPs the opportunity to achieve and be recognized for quite a few things in order to motivate their performance throughout the class. So everyone took a test yesterday, so these SUPs had the opportunity to earn a perfect test score. So you will hear me announce that. We stood everybody up in a semicircle on Wednesday and asked every single review question that we've had throughout the class, and the last person standing was our Knowledge Bee winner. The SUPs had the opportunity to gain points throughout the class, gain points and lose points, and the group that had the most points at the end of the class was our group points competition winner. We had a group project, so you'll hear me announce who had the best group project. That was our group project winner. And lastly, we asked the SUPs to vote on 3 things, 3 awards. We asked them to pay attention to who came to class every day, not dressed for the job that they had, but dressed for success, dressed for the job that they wanted. And that person will get our Dress for Success award. We asked the class to pay attention to who started out on day 1 kind of quiet and in their shell, but they all noticed over the 2 weeks that that person came more out of their shell and made themselves known and made themselves heard, and that person will receive our Most Improved award. And then lastly, we asked the class who they wanted to represent them as the June 2-day FSTS Jim Casey Legacy Award winner. And that's somebody who came to class, they raised their hand, they engaged, they gave valuable contributions to the class, and they were inspiring and motivating, and that person will represent this class as our Jim Casey Legacy Award winner. So those are the different awards that you're going to hear me announce in this graduation. And with that, we will begin FSTS graduation. First up, we have Josh.
My name is Josh Landers. I am a supervisor in the Small Sword Secondary. I work for April James, Michelle Ferris, and Scott Lewis. One thing that I think I'm going to bring back is just how to be a better motivator, how to communicate with my people more, you know, the ones that don't want to talk a lot, making sure that they talk a lot, making sure that they know that I'm here for them. Thank you.
Next, we have Laura. Laura received a perfect test score. She was our FSTS Knowledge Bee winner, and she was voted by the class to receive the FSTS Most Improved award.
Hi everyone, I am Laura Palumbo. I work at Wing C for the Outbound. I work for John Maybell, Tom Schaefer, and I also work for Scott Lewis. One thing I want to take back to my operation is to be able to communicate with my people. I got moved to another area, and it's very different going from knowing where I was to very new people, new personalities. I want to be able to work with that and learn new ways to communicate with them and get a better relationship with my people. Thank you.
Next up, we have Stacy. And Stacy received a perfect test score.
Hi, I'm Stacy Sanders. I work in 2-Day International. I work for Christian Whitfield, Kevin O'Toole, and David Fountain. One thing I want to take from this class is to learn to build better relationships with my employees and create good teamwork. Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Camden, and Camden received a perfect test score.
Hi, my name is Camden Brown. I work in 2-Day shuttle operations. I work for Bill Clarkson and Michael Smith. Something I learned in FSTS that I want to take back to my operation are the communication skills that I've developed in the past 2 weeks. I am thankful for the confidence and the knowledge that you both have shared with me. Thank you.
Next up, we have Dylan. Dylan received a perfect test score and was a member of the group Guardians of UPS, who won our group points competition.
Hello everyone, I'm Dylan Smothers. I work in the 2-Day freight operation as the UOD resupply supervisor. I work for David Watkins, Tony Meeks, and Michael Smith. What I want to take back to my area is a new perspective on my job. Don't get me wrong, I've always had pride in my job, but I found a new pride that I have. I understand now what it means to be a supervisor and what it really means to be a UPSer. I want to take that back to my team and hope to motivate and grow with them. I also want to take this time to thank Toya and Lauren for this opportunity and being amazing facilitators. And I want to thank my classmates for letting me learn from y'all. Thank you.
Next up, we have Allison. Allison received a perfect test score and was the second member of the group Guardians of UPS, who won our group points competition.
Hi, I'm Allison Hutchison. I work in 2-Day small sort secondary. I work for Michael Martin, Michelle Ferris, and Scott Lewis. And a few things I want to take back with me to my area would be working on being a better listener, a better communicator, and having more confidence in myself as a leader. Thank you.
Next up, we have Katie. Katie was the third and final member of the group Guardians of UPS, who won our group points competition, and she also received a perfect test score.
I'm Katie Abel. I work for 2-Day PSC. I work in 2-Day PSC. I work for James Hadley, Carly Chaffin, and Chris Pedley. Of all the things that I learned in FSTS, what I want to take back is to sound more confident and to not be so worried to give bad news. Shanks.
Next up, we have Larry.
Hello, I'm Larry Spalding. I work for Mary Law, Tony Meeks, and Michael Smith. One thing I'm going to learn from FSTS is how to build better relationships, to build up my employees, just to make them better. Thank you.
Next up, we have Michael. Michael received a perfect test score and was voted by the class to receive our Jim Casey Legacy Award.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michael Hessler. I'm a supervisor on the 2-Day ramp. I work for Anthony Stryker, Chris Harris, and Dave Fountain. Walking away from this, I can honestly say that I'm walking away with what I wanted to, what I stated on day one, which was improve my communication and learn how to better build relationships and learn the factors that go into, or learn each individual's motivating factors and being able to use that to work towards a common goal. I also want to thank you all for electing me for this award, not for the award itself, but for the motivation that it's given me. Knowing that you all chose me for this, that's going to be a motivation I'm going to take with me going forward. So thank you all.
Next up, we have Catherine, and Catherine received a perfect test score.
Hi, I'm Catherine Hillary, and I work in small sort primary. I work for Aaron Terry, Gary Huffman, and also Scott Lewis. And I want to thank them for the opportunity to come to Hub School. I'd also like to thank Lauren and Toya and all of my classmates for this amazing experience. I've really enjoyed getting to know all of you, and I hope that our paths cross in the future. I am looking forward to going back to small sort and building my team up and developing employees to meet their professional goals as well as the company's goals. Thank you.
Before I present this next award, I do want to just take a second. A few of you all have come up and thanked myself and Toya, but I need to thank you guys as well. Catherine, you just thanked me, but thank you too. From day one, looking up in the classroom, I could always look up and Catherine would be looking at me with the biggest smile. And that's how I knew she was engaged. That's how I knew she was learning. That's how I knew she was paying attention. So thank you too, Catherine. I appreciate you. Okay. Next up, we have Marshawn.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Marshawn Beasley. I work in two-day freight. I work for Sean Boykins, Tony Meeks, and Michael Smith. What I want to take from this class is just to be more inclusive, be more engaging with my team members and the employees that I work with every day, and just really get to learn everybody and just try to grow as much as I can with everybody around me. Thank you so much.
Next up, we have Soraya, and Soraya received a perfect test score.
Hi, my name is Soraya Fletcher. I work in the 2DA ramp. I work for Jess Kellums, Chris Harris, and Dave Fountain. One thing I want to take back with me is building better relationships with my employees. I have a couple who are a little quieter that I would like to build stronger relationships with, and to really build my crew as a team. Thank you.
Next up, we have Ethan, and Ethan was a member of the group 3 Peas in a Pod who won our group project competition.
Hi, my name is Ethan Paris. I work on a 2-day ramp. I work with John Bird, Kurt Evans, and Dave Fountain. And one thing I want to take away from this class is just to better motivate my people and make them a lot happier to come to work every day. And also, I just want to be more comfortable with being uncomfortable. Thank you.
Next up, we have Whitney, and Whitney was another member of the group 3 Peas in the Pod, the second P, who won the group project competition.
Hi, my name is Whitney Heineman. I work in 2-day Wing Alpha Unload. I work for Josh Walker, Kyle Olnick, and Scott Lewis. One thing I want to take back to the operation is to learn my people better, learn what motivates them to come into work so it helps me motivate them at work. Thank you.
Next, we have Madison, aka Maddie, who is the third P of the group 3 Peas in a Pod, who won our group project competition. Maddie was also voted by the class to receive our Dress for Success award.
Hello, my name is Madison Fields. I work in the 2-day freight facility as the dangerous goods and PSC supervisor. I work for Sean Boykin, Tony Meeks, and Michael Smith. What I would like to bring back from FSTS is building relationships with my employees and holding myself and my employees accountable, making my area more inclusive, and I would like to say thank you to all my classmates and Toya and Lauren for this awesome experience. Thank you.
last and definitely not least, we have Jaden, and Jaden received a perfect test score.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jaden Thompson. I'm from 2-Day International. I work for Angie Seaby, Kevin O'Toole, and Dave Fountain. Of the things I've learned in this class, I plan on taking back with me how to develop people through relationships. Since starting UPS, I can remember all those who have invested and poured into me, and I hope I can do the same for others. Thank you.
My son does that. Okay, so congratulations, guys. So next up, I want to introduce the person that was voted by the class to receive our Jim Casey Legacy Award. He came to class, raised his hand, spoke very well, was inspiring with what he had to say, was motivating with what he had to say, and was voted by the class to represent them as our Jim Casey Legacy Award winner. So I'm going to introduce to you guys Michael Hessler, who's going to come up and he's going to share a passage out of the Jim Casey Legacy book and speak on it, and you'll see why he was our legacy winner.
So deciding what legacy I wanted to read today was not easy. There's so much great knowledge in this book, but I ended up choosing something that I felt like I could relate to and something that I experienced. Reaching your goal. On the other hand, you are almost sure not to succeed if you try to reach your ultimate goal in one jump. Take it in several steps and you'll be more apt to get there. Take the next step ahead first and the following steps one at a time. And when you get discouraged, as all of us do sometimes, analyze yourself. Take an inventory of yourself and see where you stand. Ask yourself a few questions. Is your mental attitude right? Is your education sufficient? Do you really know your job and do you do your job? Do you allow yourself to get licked when the going is difficult? Do you finish what you start? How much do you know about the job beyond and about other parts of our business? Are you too impatient about moving ahead? Do you really plan for success? Have you set definite goals for yourself and are you working toward those goals? Are you able to lead other people to do what you want them to? Do you train, encourage, and inspire people who work with you to do a better job and thus help you to do a better one? How about your honesty of purpose? Do you always practice sincerity and truthfulness in your dealings with others? If you will analyze yourself as you are analyzed by others, you will find the answers to the questions having a bearing on your future. In appraising yourself and your opportunities for success, always remember that you cannot be successful entirely through your own efforts. All of us, if we are to accomplish anything worthwhile, will do it largely through the help and cooperation of people who work with us. We must help others to help us. The advice is given to you from experience. In my own 20 years in business, I have learned that I could do very little alone. Whatever I have done has been made possible only by a reason of the help received from my associates. In this, incidentally, is an appropriate time and place gratefully to acknowledge that assistance. It has come from many of you who are present and from many who are far away. Yes, indeed, it has been a great and uncommon privilege to have the support of so many great and uncommon people. Now, it should not be necessary for me or anyone else to exhort you to put forth your best efforts. You should know full well that your highest degree of personal success can come only if you do put forth your best efforts to attain it. It should be enough, therefore, to remind you that there is a lot of important work ahead in the company and plenty of room for all of us to exercise all the ability we possess. The rest of us will help you as we move forward together through our combined effort, but you can't expect others to drag you along as dead weight. You must pull your share of the load. If you yourself will contribute your full part towards the common good, one of your rewards will be to participate in the success of others, just as they will share in your success. So, it really did cover a lot of parts, but to me, the biggest thing I took away from that was people development. I'm so proud to work in a company that takes people development so seriously. When we work to develop others around us, we're also developing our company. We talk about that push-pull method, pushing up and pulling others up with us. Caring about our employees and seeing where we can help them find opportunities, help them develop, and in turn develop the company. This means a lot to me because I've experienced that push-pull method, and I've experienced that people development shown towards me personally. So I'll tell that short story real quick. When I found out I was getting interviewed for my promotion, I told my supervisor. And I did have a responsible supervisor that I was very grateful to be with for those couple months. And she took time and effort to train me, prepare me, and show me the responsibilities that my job role was going to have. When I went through training, I felt more prepared than anyone else there. When I got on the ramp, I felt confident in myself. That in itself touched me a lot, that she would do that for me. And I told myself, I'm responsible to do the same thing when I have the opportunity. My first week with my first crew that I ever ran, I had 2 young men on my crew. And they both stood out to me as solid workers, solid in their methods, wanted to work better, wanted to be better, followed proper safety procedures. I asked them, do you ever think you'd like to move up in this company? Because I think you'd be a very good candidate for my position. And they told me, that is something we wanted to work towards. That's something that we had talked about, and we don't know who to talk about that to. And I told them, I will help you. And I did. I did get that word out, and they did end up getting interviews eventually and working towards that. But in the time leading to their class, I took the opportunity to pass on exactly what my supervisor had given to me. Put that effort in, put that time in to train them, prepare them, and show them the responsibilities that they were going to take on in their role. Through training, they told me something that sounded familiar to me. I feel more prepared than others. I feel extremely confident in myself. I don't have any doubts or concerns. Those 2 young men are now sitting next to me in my office, and that is the single most fulfilling experience I've had in the company so far. And I know for a fact that those 2 young men will continue on to do the exact same thing. And so that understanding that people development is such an important part of our culture in this company. To go over it again, I'm just so proud of that. It really means a lot, and I want to be able to help others up, lift others up, and give others opportunities where we can. And that's my biggest takeaway from this legacy. And I just want to thank you all so much for choosing me for this award. I want to thank Toya and Lauren. I'm so grateful for you both. It's been an incredible 2 weeks. I didn't know what to expect coming here, and it's been nothing but positive information and honestly love across the board, so thank you all.
Thank you so much, Michael. Definitely well said, and a great example of how you all can go out and you can change the game. All it takes is one positive gesture from you to help somebody that works with you, help them grow, help them develop, instill that same positive gesture in them, and they will go out and they will repeat it, and you will find that you are multiplying that positive gesture. And before you know it, even though, like we talked about in class, it's so, in a huge company like this, it's so easy to feel like such a small fish, and not a pond, but a small fish in an ocean. And you think, what I do doesn't matter. That's not true. That's the perfect example of how what you do does matter. What you do is vital. What you did changed the game, and those folks hopefully go out and continue to multiply it. And before you know, you'll have an influence on more people than you ever knew. And that same thing can happen with every single one of you guys. So thank you, Michael. One thing I want to leave you guys with, we talked about everything you all earned from this class, the tools, the leadership tools that we gave you, but there's one more important thing that I didn't share that you earned from this class that you'll be walking away from this graduation with. Look to your left and your right. Partnership, networking. You guys have all gained partners to reach out to if you want somebody to celebrate in your success, partners to reach out to if you want somebody to get some advice for so you can work towards being successful, partners to reach out to just to check on and make sure that they're hanging in there. You guys now have partnership for life with everybody that has come to the class, everybody that is in this room right now, and that right there is extremely special, and I hope that you all recognize and realize that. Well, I'm definitely sad it's over. Man, that 2 weeks actually kind of flew by. Did you all feel the same? Well, I feel like my job here is done. You guys are ready to go out and conquer the world, and I wish you the best of luck. And if you ever need anything, you have our contact info. Please text, call, email, reach out to us and let us know what you need, or reach out to us and just let us know how you're doing. We want to hear and we want to celebrate in your success with you. Everybody copy that? Copy that. All right. And with that, we will conclude FSTS graduation.